night. We are here with the engineer Cesar Celedon. Good night.
Good night.
And we are going to talk about some questions about sorghum. So, engineer, the first question I have to you is how many varieties of sorghum does exist?
Well, sorghum is a plant well known in the world. It's a really spread out plant. So in terms of varieties, it's difficult to say a number because there are many different species of sorghum depending on the part of the world that we are. For example, and also depending on the uses that we want to give to the sorghum. For example, we got silage type sorghum, or corn sorghum, and each variety is different, has many different aspects, and each one really develops that way. So in terms of numbers, it's really hard to say a number because there are many sorghums around the world.
Okay. Well, another question is which are the genetic improvements that have been given to sorghum
Well,
at this moment?
uh, GMOs, genetic improvements, are really a thing right now in the world. It's making agriculture more easy for the regular producers and us engineers. In terms of sorghum, we can mention some advances like, for example, water resistant, drought resistant, sorghums varieties that resist drought. Also, we have some varieties that are uh, are resistant to some types of plagues, insects, and also plants that are resistant to some types of agrochemicals.
Okay.
Those are one of the main things. Also, we got varieties of sorghum that can have uh, more resistance to uh, more resistance to, yeah, all of those things that I mentioned before.
Okay. So do you think that this improvement can affect the naturalness of the crops?
uh, what a GMO plant is a genetic modified organism. In terms of genetics, yeah, the plants are affected a little bit, but that doesn't mean it's harmful for agriculture, for the environment. Uh, what's happening is a natural selection of the best varieties that have the best yields. So in terms, we take a variety that has a great gene about I don't know, uh, a great yield. So we grab that variety and mix it with other variety that has another good things that we want to make a combination, so we can take the best of all varieties.
Okay.
So it's not exactly harmful for environment. It's just we're just improving the plant and the yields. Yeah.
So this make like a better performance.
Yeah, so that's what we want. We don't want to change any environment at all. Just we want to take the best performance of the plant possible. Yeah.
So another question I have to you is, in terms of silage, uh, what are the nutritional difference between corn and sorghum?
Well, in terms of silage, we gotta mention that corn has a better nutrition facts than sorghum, but that doesn't mean it's better at all. For example, making a corn silage is way expensive than making a sorghum silage. Also, sorghum has like, it depends on the system that you are. Sorghum has more, it adequates more to some types of environments than corn. So it all depends on where you are and what are the factors that you are involved with. But in terms of nutritional, corn has varieties that have better improvement, better yields than sorghums in terms of silage. Yeah, it is true.
So like in the way that they can be affected by harmful microorganisms in this aspect, which one is better?
Well, right now, sorghum is naturally more resistant plant than corn. It has some effects that it can resist naturally many different things. So it resists better the droughts. It resists better some microorganisms like insects. Yeah, it's true, but Right now, corn is getting to a point where they're making much more improvements on the genetics aspect. So they are building up resistance to many organisms. So yeah.
Okay. Another question is, which could be the nutritional yields in the different phenological stages of this crop?
Okay, that's something really interesting, because in terms of nutrition accumulation, it's a curve. So you imagine a curve that's always like this.
Mhm.
The more time you spend, the crop spends, the more is gonna accumulate nutrients. So, uh, so you gotta know what are the phenological stages of each crop.
Okay.
For example, sorghum has, in terms of silage, it has three different phenological stages. Corn has four different. So the more you wait to the plant grows, the more it accumulates. But that doesn't mean it's better. Sometimes the wait is getting longer from the first stage to the last stage. So maybe you can wait 40 days. So that translates to money. So it depends on 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 the things that are around you. If you need a faster silage, you need to harvest a little sooner. You're gonna get a little less nutrients, but it doesn't mean you're not gonna get a good silage. It's still gonna be a good silage. It all depends on the plant and the way you treat the plants. But it's true. It's really important to know the difference between the phenological stages. If you want to have the best silage of all, it's better if you wait until the last. That is the plant maturity, the last stage. Yeah.
So at which stage you think we get a better performance?
Better performers in terms of nutritional facts, yeah, it is a maturity of the plant. That is the last stage. That is the better performance in dry matter and nutritional facts. But as I mentioned before, it depends on the things that are involved you're involving with. If you want to, if maybe a better performance for you to have silage in less time, so the first stage is better in that case. But in terms of nutritional facts, yeah, it's always better to wait until the last moment.
Okay. Uh, so it could be said that nutritional performance can cover the economic returns.
In some, if we're talking about silage, it's true, because if the best silage you give to your cattle, it's gonna translate in a better performance for you for your cattle. So they're gonna get, if you give them a silage with a lot more nutrients, they're gonna be fed better. So they're gonna translate. If you have dairy cows, you may get some more milk than if you have a silage from an early stage. So yeah, it's true. But in terms of money, it might be the difference. It, the less time you have your crop growing up, the less money you're spending. So maybe for some small producers, it's better to harvest a little sooner. But in terms of nutritional, yeah, the last stage is always gonna give a better performance to the cattle. Yeah.
Okay. So in which stage we could have a balance between these both performances, the economic and the nutritional performance?
All right. In that case, we gotta know the phenological stages of each crop. If we're having corn or we're having sorghum. If we're having corn, the middle is between reproductive stage number 5. That's like the middle. And in sorghum is the reproductive stage number 8. That's like the middle. But it varies depending on the time you gave to the crop. Yeah.
And
I would say that's the middle. Yeah.
and I think depending on the environment on the
And
environment.
environmental aspects, like for example, how well you're treating your crops or how well the environment's treating you. You're having a lot of rain. You're giving a lot of fertilizers. So yeah, in those terms, it's always depending on the agriculture and the environment. Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah.
Um, and a last question I have to you is, um, well, in the aspect in the economic, well, in both aspects, what is your conclusion about what uh, which of both of the two have the best performance, the or sorghum or
All right. To
or
make it
corn.
short, I gotta say the nutritional aspect, corn is always gonna be better for silage. But in terms of economic aspect, sorghum's usually is a cheaper crop to cultivate than corn. But in exchange of that, you may get a little silage that is a little less good. But in terms of nutritional aspect, corn plants have they do make a better silage than sorghum. Yeah.
Okay. Well, this is all in this interview. Thank you for your time,
Thank you. You're
and good
welcome.
night.
Have a good night.